That's bad.
All right, we're getting back to work on the 55 here. If you missed the last video, I was basically going to quickly ladder bar the rear end, get the leaf springs out of there, and swap an 8.8 in it. That didn't really work out. We did get the rear end cut out, but we also found a bunch of cancer on one of the frame rails that it's basically like, might as well just back half the car at this point. So we got our tubes showed up. They are 7-foot lengths of 1 3/4, and basically now is the fun part of getting everything like cut and mocked up in place and kind of see how we can make things work. I'm going to leave these stock frame rails intact for now. That way everything stays kind of where it wants to be. Everything's pretty square, at least how it was from the factory, hopefully. So I'm going to build kind of around it, and then once we get it all done, then I will lop the frame rails out of there. Just saves from using some extra material to weld braces in. We'll just use what we already got there. So the plan is, got the ladder bar kit over there on the floor still, that front cross member there. We're still going to use that, and we're going to build our back half off of that. I am going to triangulate everything as much as I can. So we're going to get that cut to the proper width to fit in between the frame rails. I do think I'm going to cut some plates to weld to the frame, just a little bit extra surface area on the welds, I think. In my mind it helps. I don't know if it actually does, but it makes me feel a little bit better. Once we get that, I'll probably do like one tack on each side just to hold it in place. And then I'll probably start getting the bars bent up to go up and over the rear end. And we'll see how much tubing we have, and that's going to kind of be the deciding factor on where our bar back here, our crossbar back here, is going to mount. I do also still want to put the fuel cell under the trunk, so that could be an item of consideration also. Because if I do it like up in here, well, I don't think I have any fuel cells here I could measure, but that's something I'm going to have to consider. I either have to bring it pretty far back to leave some room for the fuel cell in front of it, or have it pretty far forward, which isn't the end of the world, because all these frame rails are still good, even though they look dirty. So like I could do it up here, I think, and have room for a cell back here. Either way, really. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do first, we'll get the car lifted up, get the floor and everything all swept out of the way, get the stock rear end off the tranny jack, get the new rear end on the tranny jack, and get at least the rotors on it, and get our new back wheels on it. And we'll get that in place, see where everything's wanting to sit, and then we'll try to kind of leave that there while we're mocking things up. And then I would like to bend up some sort of template, just something to follow along with while I'm bending those. That way, hopefully, we can get each side matching. So, first thing I'm going to do is get this car lifted up and get all this junk cleaned. All right, got the 8.8 off the ground for the first time since I pulled it out of the bed of my truck. And boy, that was a pain in the butt. More accurately, it was a pain in the wrist. So the old rear end, probably should have filmed it. Would have been fun for you guys to watch. I just popped the ratchet strap loose and just let it tilt off and prayed it didn't bounce and hit anything. It almost did. And then this, I was like, I'm a strapping young lad. I can just pick that up. Yeah, something popped in my wrist. It's not super heavy. I could deadlift it, but going from like the deadlift grip to around here, my wrist was unhappy. So we got our old man tools out. Now we can get our wheels bolted onto the rear end. I need to get the discs also. And I'm pretty sure they'll clear. I mean, this isn't completely centered, but I'm pretty sure they'll clear. So like I said, this is, I don't know if I said it in this video, in the last video I mentioned it, this is a narrowed 8.8 with the, like an Explorer budget narrowed one where you get the driver side axle, flip it over here, and then just cut 3 inches or 2 7/8, whatever it is, off the passenger side. So we're at about 56.5 brake to brake. So I'm gonna go get the wheels, and hopefully they fit perfect. If they're a skosh in further, that's live withable, because we're gonna be cutting this out. The new frame rail will be give or take in here. So as long as we got like an inch or so to the fender lip, we're looking good. Enough rambling, let me go grab the wheels. Shoot. Yeah, in a perfect world, I'd like to have about an inch more backspace on them. We should be able to at least get this thing mocked up, though, and see how we liking it. All right, we got the rear end up in here, and like I was kind of scared of, we got tons of room for more backspacing, and we're pretty dang close to that fender lip. But I got the ride height about where I think I'm gonna want it. So that is roughly how we're gonna be sitting. And that is a 275/50, so it's a little bit shorter than the 275/60 that I'd like to be running, but they came with the wheels. I mean, and we still got some room, because I'm gonna redo the trunk floor to where this is gonna be even with that all the way across, so we'll have a bunch of room there. The shock mount will be going across in here, and then the fuel cell will be in this neck of the woods. I can also get a measurement, a more accurate measurement for where the cross member is gonna live. So let's measure for where the ladder bar mount is gonna be roughly. Whoops, come on, get it up. All right, yeah, it might be a little bit more forward than what I thought it was, but it's still gonna be like in this general area. And then let's check for our shocks real quick. Ugh. I know it's gonna compress. I understand that, but I don't know how much it's gonna compress. These are 150 springs. I think they're 12s. Yeah, they're 12s. So I could always get a 10. That'll give us a little bit. Really, the only thing we can do there is get it in there and see how much it compresses once ride height's on it. And yeah, because I'm not good enough to just know all that calculation ahead of time. Yeah, basically we start cutting some bars now and seeing how we want things to live, you know? So yeah, I'm damn near gonna try to just replicate this stock frame rail bend to a degree, I suppose. We're probably gonna have it run, well, dang, that part sucks actually. How do I wanna do that? Because the ladder bars, I don't want them super narrow. Yeah, I might have to cut these out ahead of time. Let me do some thinking real quick. Yeah, I'm going to probably just turn the camera off and caveman my way through this and see what I can come up with, and hopefully it's good enough, which I think it should be. Got the cross member just wedged in place right now. When I do actually put it in, like I said earlier, I'm going to cut out a plate to help with the surface area of things. But right now, right about there's how we're looking, and all of the heim joints are pretty much all the way in. So I think that spacing should be pretty good. And then that gives us room for a bar right through there. Got the rear cross member in place now. It's just tacked to the plates here, and then the plates is just kind of wedged up in there for now. I don't know exactly how far fore and aft I want it just yet, but now it should be a little bit easier for anybody who wasn't sure how I was planning on doing this to kind of pick up on it. You can see the front cross member there, rear cross member here, basically going to bend some bars that go from just inside the frame rail from there over the axle to this. More or less, that's what we're doing. Up above the axle, we're gonna have in another cross member for the shock mounts and to help bracing. And I'm gonna make a couple little pieces to help triangulate the frame and everything up here. And I'll do some more in the back and some just here and there wherever I think it needs it. Like I said earlier, probably like 100 times now. I just don't want anyone to miss it. I'm gonna do some plates for the front here too. I already got those cut out, they're over there. This is just for mock-up right now, but yeah, that should give you guys a little bit better idea of how this is going to go down. Now the part that sucks is I tried to cheat the system, think I'm better than everyone else, and use a pipe bender to bend up one of the bars. I was thinking if I only went like 40 degrees, it would probably be okay. It wasn't okay. I know, pack it with sand, tape the ends. I'm too lazy for that. There's some mods I could do to that I've seen work for other people. I think I'm just going to pick up one of the Speedway benders, which is like a knockoff of the affordable bender, which is just like a hand pump version of what my buddy has. He has an air pump on it, but he is using his until the end of the month trying to get a cage done for his Jeep so that he can make it to an event somewhere down south in Florida, I think he said. So that thing is preoccupied. So like I said, I'm probably just going to pick up a Speedway bender and we'll use it on this. There's some bars on the cage I want to redo. When we get around to the Opal, I'll be able to just buy lengths of pipe instead of spending like $700 on a kit. But that does mean that aside from cutting like those little triangulation pieces out of what is now a scrap bar, there's not really a whole lot I can do right now. So I'm going to get a few of those cut. I do think that I might try to move this further ahead so that I can put the fuel cell, because I either need it further ahead or further back. I don't know yet. We might go further back with it. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm probably going to get at least 4 of those pieces cut. I've got one here that I could cut down and do something like that, you know. Just got to chamfer the edges. Man, it would be so nice if that freaking frame rail was solid. Because then I could basically just burn all this in, burn on the brackets for the ladder bars. Boom, done. Oh well. All right, so the new tubing bender just showed up. Just got it together and greased. Testing it out now. It's not bad. Seems pretty fun. And I got 4 of these little support pieces cut out. Let's see if I can remember what spot this one went in. Those might have been this side. There we go, that's better. So, got 4 of them. 2 for back here, 2 for in front. So they'll tie in like that, and then the new frame rails will be right there, so that's all triangulated, a little bit happier. So I'm going to keep messing with this thing, get familiar with it, and then move on to actually bending up the new rails, and fingers crossed I don't mess them up too bad. Got the bar in there, just kind of taking note of everything. You can see I wrote on the die so that I could quickly glance and see what the hash marks are. Where the 35 is lined up with this end plate, you can see here, magnet on that part, we're at perfect 0. Magnet here, we're at perfect 35. So those seem pretty darn accurate. I was counting the number of pumps from where this thing started at tight, because like there's a little bit of slack at the beginning. Once you take all that slack out of it, and then I started counting, 35 degrees was 30 pumps. So that's cool. I'm estimating that 45 would be like 40 pumps maybe. I wanted to come back here and take note of how things are looking under here. So there is that. This is, yeah, about 45. A little under 45, like 43, 44. So I'm probably going to take that to 40 degrees. I might take it to 45. Yeah, I think I'm going to take it to 45. And then just kind of eyeballing things. It looks like once we come up over the axle, we'll want kind of like maybe like a 55. And then we can flatten this out with a 10. Is kind of what I'm looking at. So, I'm going to save myself the embarrassment. I'm going to turn the camera back off and just hopefully show you guys a finished product. Alright, got one rail bent, just sitting in place obviously. I haven't cut the ends to length yet. And I pulled the rear cross member out so that I could get it in there. Because I'm probably going to have to cut this, I estimated around here. But I think it's going to be closer to in this neck of the woods. But yeah, I think we did pretty good. So I kept track of the degrees and the number of pumps, wink, for the bender. This was 40, this was 60, this was 14. All things considered, I think it turned out pretty good. This will be, let's see, right there is level with the frame rail. Looks like the front is level 2. When I was doing this last bend, I had the magnet on the front to try and make sure that they were at the same plane, you know, they were both level. So yeah, I'm gonna get the other one bent up real quick to try and match this as best I can, and we'll see how we're looking. Alright, so update, the Speedway cheap tubing bender works really well. There are some minor differences between the first one and the second one. That's just user error trying to match it up as best I can. So I did have to cheat, and the tail of the second one I had to bend up a little bit more because the middle over the axle hump I had bent a little too far. So like over the axle it's pinched like 3 degrees too far, so I just kicked the tail up a little bit so that it meets at about the same spot for the crossover. So those are basically done. I need to cut and notch the ends so that they're in the right location. But before I can do that, I want to get the new ladder bar brackets that my buddy's cutting out as we speak, so I might be able to pick those up tomorrow and then like finalize where the cross member needs to be, and then I can basically get everything all welded up, cut the stock frame rails out, and voila. Oh yeah, and the shock mounts. Alright, just got back from picking up the new ladder bar brackets. You can see a whole lot more adjustment, and the mounting holes are on a little bit of a radius there, which lines up with the radius that our ladder bar is on. And we've got about an extra 1.5 inches or so each direction of adjustability. So the only thing left for me to do now is just start welding everything together. So I'm gonna turn on some music, turn on the heater, and just get to work. All right, cross members back in, got the new ladder bar brackets on, got the end plates to weld to the frame. I'm about to probably just get the sides welded on this and get these gussets at least tacked in place. That way all this is secured. I obviously need to weld through here first before putting the gusset on. And then, like I said, I'll get that tacked on. And that'll also help brace the ladder bar plates or brackets. And then I'll get the rear bar probably in place, take a measurement, cut the frame rails, and then get those notched up in place, get everything all tacked, and make sure everything's still nice and square, burn it all together, and then we can undo our body mounts and cut the stock frame rail out. That's our plan. Alright, got the sides of both the plates welded and the circumference of the tube, and got these gusset bars tacked. That one's on an angle up a little bit. That's alright though. So now I can get the rails cut and start getting all those together. Alright, just got the frame rails all notched, and this thing's looking pretty dang good. This is not too bad. So I just have the crossbar here hammered forward to hold everything in place, but we are looking pretty dang good. Should have plenty of room to get in here with the welder, and then our brackets are going to be in this neighborhood. Basically, I want them as wide as I can get them, so it'll be like just barely be able to squeeze the nut in here. Wink. It would be cool to do like the outside plate, like in the future, obviously not for this, but it'd be cool to do the outside plate a little bit thicker and then just thread it. That'd be something pretty interesting to experiment with. And then yeah, I still need to bust these tacks loose and turn that down a little bit, just that way it matches over here. I want that to be in line with the new frame rail, which, I mean, it's really, who cares? But just aesthetic wise, this needs to be down about a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. But yeah, this is looking so killer. And then I might have to modify them a little bit now that this thing's going to be so much further back. But yeah, we still got these little gusset supports, which I could, because of the angle there, I could dang near just lop that straight off. Yeah, this has turned out so good. All right, so I'm going to get a lot of this burned in real quick. All right, got it about 70% welded. Still have to do the brackets, but I had to take a break because I was starting to do really bad. Just hand fatigue and poor placement. But overall, not too terrible. Very live-withable. I definitely had a couple moments where I was like, God, I'm ruining this fucking car, even though, you know, I like to think I'm improving it. I'm probably at a point where I could cut the frame and it shouldn't go anywhere. but I'm probably still going to do a couple more things first. I need to, like I said earlier, I need to trim the gussets there so I can get those welded in. Not that that'll make a huge difference to this. And then I eventually am going to have to make new body mounts. That won't be anything too bad at all. Basically, just bend up some flat stock, drill a hole in it, weld it, and call it a day. Yeah, we'll see how much of a pain in the butt that is. Because all 4 of these ones snapped when I pulled them out. So might have to run a through bolt for it. Who knows? Not the end of the world. But up here, looking pretty good. Got the triangles of strength, so that's pretty tight. Yeah, right here, I was just like, good Lord, man, I am not good at this. Still have the tops to do, but my shoulder was starting to kill me, so I decided I'm going to take a break. But this thing is looking pretty rad. Like I said, we should be able to cut it here soon. And then I am going to run bars from the cage to about the top of the loop there, give or take. I'd like to have them come down right above where the bar for the shocks are going to be, since that'll see most of the stress. I'd like to have them come down there and triangulate, you know? So I'm either going to add on to the ones that are there or cut those out and bend up entirely new ones and find an excuse to use this new bender. But yeah, we are looking so damn good. That is going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for following along with the back half build so far. I'll get back to working on probably the next video or the video after that, maybe, depending on what we got going on. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing and sharing and all that. I'll see you guys next time.